WebWise, Web Wellness and Internet Safety Education.
Welcome back to our series on data protection. Today we are exploring why data protection is so important and the role Jamaica's Data Protection Act 2020 plays in safeguarding your personal data. The importance of data protection. Data protection is about more than just rules. It's about protecting your privacy, autonomy, and personal freedom in a world that relies heavily on data. The Data Protection Act 2020 was created to establish clear principles for managing personal data responsibly and to ensure oversight. Why? Because when public and private organizations handle data correctly, it builds trust and accountability. Now I want you to imagine how much of your life is captured in data. From your contacts to your browsing habits, would you want that information handled carelessly? Now we'll look at some key rights for data subjects under the Act. So the Act grants individuals known as data subjects specific rights over their personal data, highlighting the importance of personal autonomy and transparency. So let's look at a few of these key rights. So the first one is right of access. This right allows you to check if your data is being processed, understand why it's collected, and even get a copy of it. So would you be surprised to see all the data companies collect about you? And the next we have the right to prevent processing. And this empowers you to stop data processing if it is causing harm or distress, or if it is unnecessary, or if it is even retained for too long. This right helps prevent misuse. So I want you to think about how frustrating it can be when companies hold on to your old data unnecessarily. And finally, we have the right to rectification. So if your data is inaccurate, you can request a correction. Accurate data is essential to ensure fair decisions, like when applying for jobs or credit. And I want you to just take this away with you. If your data isn't accurate, it could lead to misunderstandings or missed opportunities. Now we're going to look at responsibilities of data controllers. So data controllers are the organizations that handle your data, and they have specific responsibilities under the Act. These responsibilities ensure that data is handled ethically and transparently. And the first responsibility is registration. Controllers must register with the Information Commissioner, describing their data processing activities, and this builds accountability. And I want you to imagine if every company collecting your data had to explain why they were doing it. Would that make you feel more secure? And the second responsibility of data controllers under the Act is appointing data protection officers. For high-risk data activities like processing sensitive or large-scale data, controllers must have dedicated officers to oversee compliance. So I want you to quickly think about this. Data protection officers, think of them as in-house advocates for your privacy. And the third responsibility for data controllers under the Act is they have to carry out annual impact assessments. So controllers must conduct annual assessments to proactively identify and reduce risk to your data. So imagine if companies always check their practices for data risk. It's all about creating responsible data habits. And now we're going to look at the 8 core data protection standards. So the Act sets out 8 core standards to guide responsible data handling. And these principles emphasize 1. Fair and lawful processing. Processing must be transparent with your consent or a legal reason. Number 2, purpose limitation. Data is collected only for specified purposes. Number 3, data minimization. Only relevant data is kept. Number 4, accuracy. Data must be kept up to date. Number 5, retention limits. Data should only be retained for as long as needed. Number 6, respect for rights. Processing must honor your rights. Number 7, security. Strong safeguards protect data from unauthorized access. Number 8, transfers. Limits apply to transferring data outside Jamaica. So I want you to just think about these standards. So these standards help ensure data is handled with purpose, security, and respect for your rights. So the Act also addresses international cooperation. Data flows are global, so this law includes measures to ensure Jamaican data stays protected even when it's transferred abroad. Jamaica's law aligns with international standards like the EU's regulation. This reflects a growing international effort to protect data worldwide, strengthening both individual rights and economic partnerships. So I want you to imagine the peace of mind knowing that even if your data travels overseas, it's protected by Jamaican standards. In closing, data protection matters because it's all about protecting your privacy and rights in the digital age. Next time, we will explore what counts as personal data under the Act. I want you to think about which right under the Data Protection Act do you think is most important? Access, preventing processing, or rectification? Let us know in the comments.
WebWise, web wellness and internet safety education.